All right, welcome back to another video. Today I'm actually going to have my brother, who has never used a Linux system before, try to do some simple tasks that most users would, do when they set up a new desktop, whether it's Mac OS or Windows, but I'm going to have him do them on a Linux system. And then he's just going to rate them real quick to see, what if it was easy or hard. I'll probably just do like a 1 through 5 rating to make it simple. So let's jump right into it. So say hello.
Hello.
So we're gonna be doing something super simple right now. I just want you to open Chrome.
Open Chrome. I see Chrome here. Okay. Let's pop it over here. All right.
All right. So now I want you to download a Marvel wallpaper. So just I guess go to Google and just download a.
Okay. Marvel wallpaper. And then let's just click this one and save image as. Whoa. Uh, Marvel wallpaper. And then save.
All right. Cool. So you're able to save that, and now I want you to change the desktop wallpaper to that wallpaper that you just downloaded.
Okay. So here's the wallpaper and set as wallpaper desktop. Man, Linux is easy. Piece of cake.
All
So
right.
far, this is a breeze. How do I close these things though?
So how would you rate that so far? The
I
task.
mean, I kind of know how to use a computer in general, but so far those tasks are very easy.
Okay. Sorry. So can you move that wallpaper to the documents folder?
Yeah. Documents. Move here. Documents. Boom.
Okay. So that's pretty easy as well. All right. So now what we're gonna do is I want you to change the output speaker because right now it's on the monitor here. I want you to change the output speaker to the Fifine mic.
The output speaker to the find my on. That's notifications. That's YouTube. Okay, hold on. Change the. Okay. Change it to the Fi mic.
Yeah.
Playback devices. Boom.
Okay. So that was fairly easy for you. But
Yeah. I mean,
it finding the icon, I guess, was the hardest
yeah.
part.
Yeah, you got to know how to. I mean, I guessed. I totally guessed. But usually the speaker is sound.
Yes. So
So,
so you had the right idea and you went to the right spot and you're
mhm.
um
Mhm.
able to do that pretty easily. Okay. All right. So I want to think of one more kind of hard one that a Linux user might do. So a popular terminal app is called HTOP. It's a way you can monitor your system and see what's running, where your RAM and stuff is at.
Mhm.
Um, so I want you to try to download HTOP. So you can go to, I'll give you a hint here. So it's a command you have to do in the terminal. So your best bet is to search what that command is to download HTOP.
It's a command in the terminal.
Yes,
Okay, I'm guessing this is terminal.
that's correct.
Oh, search a command. And what is it called?
H top. There you go. It's running.
What?
It's run. This is H top. This is showing everything that's running on the computer.
Oh, I did it.
Yeah, you did it. The RAM.
What? I'm like, what am I looking at right now?
This is everything that's currently running on the computer. It's just like a monitoring system,
Oh.
and then yeah, and then you
All I
can
typed was H tab, and that
yeah,
was
you just
it.
type the command and it ran. Just wanted to see if that was intuitive enough to for
I
someone to be
mean,
able to do.
I don't. Okay, it's not super intuitive because I know that this right here, this icon, is
Hmm.
terminal.
Okay, so
If
someone
somebody
who didn't
doesn't
know what a
know,
terminal was.
or even know what a terminal is. I have an IT background, so this I knew this was a command or terminal. It has to be, you know.
Right,
And so when I clicked into it, I knew that you needed to type in there to do commands.
right,
So I think that might be for somebody that doesn't know how to do that.
right,
That might be a little bit tricky because not the everyday user doesn't use terminals
right. No, that's very
or
true.
put in commands. So
Okay.
um,
Um.
I don't know how to close out of any app, anything though.
So mine's a key bind.
Oh,
So you do Win key and Q together to close it out once it's open.
oh, close. Okay.
All right. So open settings.
Mm, settings. Help. Oh no, that doesn't look like a settings area. This looks like settings. Or is it a window of settings?
It's like an application. It's a like the whole settings application to get to.
Okay. Usually it's like a little gear, typically. Let's see.
So
System.
I feel like you would have found it by now if I didn't have the icon theme that I
Oh my goodness sakes.
have. Because you've technically gone past it a couple
You got
times.
macros, you got icon themes.
So on a default, you know,
Clipboard.
Linux system, you probably would have found it by now. Sorry, I'm gonna just kind of point it out. It's this settings icon.
This?
Yeah, that's the
Oh, I
settings
would have
icon.
never got that. I thought
Yeah.
this was another app.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's the
Oh, I
settings
was in this
icon.
before.
Yes. Um.
Okay.
All right. So let's do. Let's say you want to change. Let's say you want to change the icon pack
Oof.
in the settings. Where do you think you would go to change the icon pack? That was
Was that it?
easy. Yeah, these are a lot of icon packs. And you can install new ones, but these are the ones that I currently have installed. And boom, you just changed my entire icon pack.
Oh
Now
yeah.
it looks like a settings icon.
Yeah, now
You
I
would have
can see
found that.
settings. Yeah, I can see settings. Okay.
You would have found that pretty easy. So, aside from maybe getting Linux installed and like the fear of wiping your system and installing Linux, like on a traditional desktop experience, this is KDE, which is one of the most popular desktops for Linux. So,
Mm-hmm.
along with like GNOME or something like that. But how do you think the experience is for an everyday user to be able to use this? And keep in
Um.
mind, I have modified it. Like,
Yeah.
but by default, you would still have like an X up here and stuff to be able to
Okay.
X out of your programs. I just have it where the window, when the title bar is missing and everything's
Yeah.
tiled and stuff like that. So I have made some adjustments to it, but
Hmm.
for the average person, how let's say one out of 10, what would you rate it?
Um. Changing all your settings now.
I can do that.
1 out of 10. I think I would rate this, at least my initial experience, probably, I mean, for me, probably like 8.5, so 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Um, could be a 9, but
Is it because of your background though?
I, yeah, I'm saying for me, I think it's because of my background, but also, I guess not including all the themes and the stuff that you've changed. Overall, it actually was pretty easy. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I knew this top bar has something, like these are applications, these are like
Mm-hmm.
your doc, but you have a doc down here as well of like maybe open applications
Mm-hmm.
or and some that are just pinned. And then this is kind of your main like computer, maybe like softwares or programs that are
Yeah.
installed, how to like turn it off,
Yeah. So the settings.com is in there too. You just didn't notice.
desktops. Yeah. I mean, yeah, 8.5, maybe 9 out of 10 as far as ease of use. But now the tricky part is actually using, the computer and going around, and like if I have to find files, like I'm guessing this is my files. Yeah, documents. Oh yeah, this is all normal. All this stuff is normal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say 8.5 out of 9. 9 out of 10. It
Okay.
wasn't too bad. The
Well,
terminal use, I think, is the thing that's the scariest. Because depending on how many things you have to use the terminal for, that
okay.
might be a little bit tricky.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. So I would say, although it's scary, most cases when you for an average Linux user that has to use a terminal,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of copy and pasting. Because let me see this real quick. So for instance, if I didn't know how to like, let's say I want to delete that HTOP
Mm-hmm.
application that we loaded, and I don't know how to do that. I could open up Chrome and then just type in how do I delete HTOP on Arch Linux.
Mm-hmm. On what?
Arch Linux. That's the type of Linux that I'm on. Okay, so there's the command. It says uninstall Arch Linux. Use Pacman Manager with the command
This.
yes. So you would copy that.
And then just go to the terminal.
Yeah, you already got to open over there,
Oh,
and then
and then just pop that in.
yeah, paste it.
Okay.
So in order to paste in a terminal, you do have to do instead of just Control V, you have to do Control Shift V. So there's no accidental pasting. So
Oh,
just
okay.
hit that and then hit enter, and then my super secret password.
Oh,
Press enter, and then what does it ask? Like just read.
do you want to remove these packages? Yes.
You just removed it.
Okay.
So like most cases, that's what the
Mm-hmm.
average Linux user would have to do is Google search something. Google with AI nowadays literally just put it at the top here. You don't even have to open up a link.
No, no, which is
it
helpful.
put it right here. So back in the day, maybe that would have been as easy because you would have had to find like a wiki page or Reddit page that someone posted that. But
Mm-hmm.
they already did
Mm-hmm.
the hard work for you and put it right up here. And then you're able to just copy it and paste it over there. So most of the times you're trying to troubleshoot something or fix something or do something that you can't do in like the regular user interface,
Mm-hmm.
that's what would happen.
Got it.
You just search it, copy it, paste it in the terminal. Now you gotta trust where you got it from though,
Yeah.
because you don't want to just copy anything into your terminal and hit enter and hope for the best. But most of the times it is pretty trustworthy, especially if thousands of other people have also used it and tried it before. If it's on like a Reddit post or something,
Okay.
um, but yeah. So where would you rate it for like an average user, someone who probably doesn't pick up computers as often, but just wants something simpler? Maybe like Sarah or mom,
Mm-hmm.
or even I mean Christina's pretty tech savvy, but
I
yeah,
would say uh probably 7.5
7.5.
for
Would
the average user.
now would you say
Yeah.
it's any more difficult than going from say Windows to Mac or Mac to Windows?
No, not at least so far. Not at least so far. Because I remember actually when I was my first time going from Windows to Mac, I was so lost in Mac.
Yeah.
I was so lost.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff is not actually I think it's gotten better over the years, but I think it's not as intuitive if you're coming from Windows.
Right.
Because there's just little things of like, especially like deleting applications and
Mm.
like or going
Or
into
installing
yeah,
applications.
installing application, you gotta drag that folder and
Yeah.
like there's little things that it definitely is not as intuitive versus Windows, and there definitely was a learning curve, so I think going to this would probably be somewhat similar, but not anything more,
Okay.
at least as of right now,
Yeah. Yeah,
what
and I
I'm
feel like
seeing.
that's kind of the point that I try to get across to a lot of users. It is a learning curve, yes, but it's not much more than just learning a new system.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people just going from Windows to Mac or from Mac to Windows is about the same amount of learning curve it would be to get Linux. Now, to install Linux, maybe that
Mm-hmm.
part might be because you have to install it through like a USB and then go through the steps. But I mean, there's very simple instructions to follow
Mm-hmm.
as long as you know what a USB drive and know how to download a program and download something from the web. Then you're pretty good in that regard. But
Mm-hmm.
mm,
It wasn't bad. It wasn't too bad.
well, cool. Now let's say where would you rate your chances of actually using Linux as a main
My
desktop?
main desktop.
Yeah. Now that you've done this, because you've never really like poked around. I mean, I've been using it for a long time
Yeah,
now, but
I
you've
haven't
never
really
like
poked it. Oh shoot! What did I do?
you might have seen me do things from time to time, or I've showed you stuff or whatever, but you've never used it yourself. So
I mean, so okay, for general use, I think uh maybe like 7 or 8 out of 10. It just depends because part of me is like, do I want to learn something new? I don't know
mm,
if I do, even though little things like might be better, but I don't know if I want to go through that
right.
at this very moment. And then also just for work and stuff, I use a lot of different applications and stuff, and I need to make sure it works.
Okay.
Like that would also stop me from
Right.
going to something new if like certain applications or even external things that I'm
Mm-hmm.
using and I'm trying to plug it into the system,
Oh, okay.
making sure it's
Yes.
recognized, like
Yes.
that kind of stuff. Especially for like production and things like that. So I would want to make sure that could all work before making like a main thing. And I feel like my learning curve would be even further than the average user because
You have to install these
I gotta
peripherals
install,
and
yeah,
different things. Yeah.
peripherals. I gotta install these softwares. I gotta make sure they all run together. And there's nothing weird that's happening. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, and I feel like that's a, a solid thing. I mean, it's kind of the same thing when you switch from Windows to Mac. Like, make sure all your programs work, and
Yes.
there's an equivalent that you can use, on Mac or Windows. That has become less and less over the years. I feel like everything, for the most part, even like Microsoft apps now work on Mac OS.
Yeah.
But it took a while
It did.
for that to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just out of the gate when Mac, became a thing. But my hope is that Linux becomes more of a just a third option
Mm-hmm.
instead of this like foreign thing that people just view as this scary
Yeah.
operating system that like only hackers use. Like,
I think it has to become more commercialized because
yes,
like there's not even one ad or commercial that says download Linux today.
right,
Like nothing.
yes, and I think I did the
So it is kind
video.
of like this secret
Yeah, yeah, it's like secret
society
community of people.
of people using it
You
because
only hear it
like
from a friend that has Linux. They're
yeah,
like, "Hey, download this." Like, wait, what is that?
but there's nothing that's marketing or advertising Linux out there to get people even interested.
So
And
if there was a
also,
Linux laptop in say Best Buy, that would help.
yeah, and then also just to know, like, yeah, I went on here now, but I don't know any of the key features or benefits that are different than Windows or Mac.
Mm,
Like what stands out for Linux that's different than Windows or Mac, besides it being more stripped down, that you don't have to all the bloat
right.
within it, which is a big, which is one feature,
Yeah.
but
A lot of
you
it,
know,
a lot of Linux users are going to say is like the privacy and there's no like telemetry of the head person getting your information. So like when you have a Windows computer, they can get all your information, especially with
mm-hmm,
this new AI pilot thing. Like
mm-hmm,
it's taking screenshots of your computer every so often, so you can like remember things or like where you put stuff.
mm,
Um, so it's the whole privacy piece of it. Like this is
mm-hmm,
your system. I can build it exactly the way I want it, install what I want,
mm-hmm,
and there's not all this extra stuff on it. And the customization, like I can make this look like anything that I want. I can have it look more like a traditional Windows computer and have everything at the bottom with the
mm-hmm.
bar and not have this at the top. Or I can go more of like a Mac. Like I have like a mixture of the Mac OS and Windows going on here.
Yeah, yeah,
But you can kind of just make it your own, um, and not really you're not really tied to anything.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I wouldn't say it's any more secure, but some people would say like, oh, Linux is more secure than others.
mm-hmm,
I wouldn't say it's any more secure. You still got to protect yourself just like you do on any
mm-hmm.
other platform. But yeah, I'd say those are like the key things. Is getting away from, and a lot of the stuff on Linux are free and open source in the sense that it's not a proprietary, you know, system, and you don't have these bigger corporations kind of taking over things.
Mm.
So you know exactly what you're. Wait, you don't know exactly what you're downloading, but it's there's ways of knowing exactly what you're downloading instead of just trusting a big corporation with all your
Okay.
information and all
So a
your
lot of it is the
yes,
privacy conversation with that.
yeah,
And then I mean, it's sad, but I just don't like. Also, I don't know if majority of people care.
yeah,
Like it is sad, but like people will always choose the easier route than something
right.
that's like, hey, I want to control my privacy of my information and what I have. Um,
No, that's a good point.
I mean, they'll always choose it for some reason. I mean, it's just people. It's like whatever's easiest. And for myself, I mean, privacy I think is a concern. I think I just want to make sure everything works. Like especially there's even certain apps that are only for Mac than not
Hmm.
for Windows, and
Right.
that's why I primarily use a lot of my stuff on Mac. But I have been actually using my Windows a lot lately as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, and it sounds like there's no like extra bloat and stuff, which is nice because that at least will make it more streamlined. You don't
Right.
have to have that extra pieces on for software, which makes it run smoother.
Yes. Yeah.
So
And Linux does run on the quote unquote potato PC. Like you could have a
oh,
very old, PC that doesn't work anymore. Windows won't run on it because it's not supported by Windows anymore. You could load Linux on there and it'd probably run, not as day one, but
mm-hmm.
like a lot. It would run, and you could actually still do some browsing and some stuff
Now
on
does it
it.
have
So
updates? Does Linux
yeah,
have like not Windows updates, but like computer updates?
yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
like my system in particular, I have this up here. Like it was last checked 45 minutes ago, and this just show my system updates that I have here.
So
And
there is some outside company that's pushing updates.
no, so it's the distribution that you have installed. So I have Arch. That's the what I had to search for
So
Arch
whoever
Linux.
made that distribution basically
Yes,
pushes out updates.
yes. Now
Okay.
those distributions are typically like it's open source though, so I can go to their GitHub and
And get
look
it.
at everything.
Oh,
And
okay.
you can contribute to it. You can like if you do know how to code or whatever, you could add stuff to it yourself. But there is somebody like that approves it, and like it can't just get in there from anybody just making it. But that's the free and open source
So this
part of
this
it.
is something I would not know how to do is how to get to GitHub. I don't. Is that a website?
Yeah, that's just a
Oh,
website.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so that would just be GitHub. Oops. Gits.
that's GIT.
GitHub. And this is essentially like the marketplace
Kind of. It's just
for.
where people store their platforms. Like,
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
it's
And
where they
who
store.
owns GitHub?
That is a larger company,
Okay.
which is also open source though.
Okay. Oh. But they saw that there was not a place for everything to be, and then they created
Correct.
this place,
Yes.
GitHub, and they make their money on the basically what you can do in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty much all it is. Like,
Okay.
and so if I was building an app or a program, I could store my information on GitHub so people can see, or if I need other developers to get access to it or whatever, this is where you would store it to have that information, public to them.
Okay. Cool.
Well, yeah, I think that's it for today. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.